Oh, but you said I can tell you guys
You can
secrets,
tell us
right? I'll
secrets.
tell
Well,
you. That's fine.
welcome to the Incoherent Fangirl.
Where we both did our notes very last minute, but we're here and we're kind of prepared.
We got this. We got this.
It's like we didn't know we were recording today.
I'm Karin from Mavana.
I'm Mandy of the Wildflower Inn.
Oh,
Yeah.
love. All right, welcome back to the podcast, episode 2. We're
Whoop, whoop.
we're moving along. It's still weird to like try and get back into the swing of
I
things.
know. That's what it is. That's why it took me so long to do my notes. Because last week I was like done days in
Mm-hmm.
advance. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I am ready. This week I'm like, oh yeah,
This week,
we're
yeah.
recording in like an hour.
Everything's like so thrown out. I think part of it is because I'm not like out here scrambling to get things done last minute. So
Yeah.
something had to give.
Yeah.
I was
Something
like,
had to fall through the cracks.
I got all our social media posts are scheduled. The podcast went out early. Like everything's good. So something had to get
Yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah. Something had to slow down a little bit.
It's fine. It's fine. Time to make Mandy mad at me again.
Look, I was thinking about this today. It doesn't make me mad in January because January feels like it's been 7 months. So you can tell me how we're trucking along through January, and I'm
Okay.
not going to be offended until February.
Well, in that case, in our timeline, it is January 16th, and in y'all's timeline, it is January 24th.
And I'm at Disney World.
I'm so jealous. I'm just so excited for this long weekend. My God.
Yeah, I keep forgetting it's a long weekend. So,
Yeah, I'm so my daughter gets 2 days off, and I just get the one, and I'm so upset about
why
this.
did she get 2 days off?
They have a teacher in service day on the
Oh,
Tuesday. I'm sure they
gosh.
planned it that way, but like rude for those of us
Yeah.
who, still have to work.
Yeah.
It's okay. I took a half
Yikes.
day and I telework, so it's not the
Yeah.
end of the world, but it still
Yeah, but it's
sucks.
still frustrating. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm with you.
This week in fangirling, Mandy, what'd you do?
So I have a minor Living in the Dead update. I've
Ooh.
done some light editing based on feedback from some alpha reader feedback.
Alpha from some
Um,
alpha reader.
feedback from alpha reader feedback. I wrote a little bit of book two, and I started a completely new, unrelated project.
Because
This is
why
one.
focus?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of stalled until, everybody gets done with their
Yeah,
feedback. I still have two that are still working on it, which is fine. But so I wanted to do something. Like I wanted to be
yeah,
creative.
for sure.
So, and I don't want to say quite yet what it is. It is a retelling historical fiction kind of thing that my grandmother was telling me about,
Hmm.
like someone's life story. And I was like, this is absolutely fascinating. And I want
Hmm.
to read this book. And she was like, I've looked, nobody's like written a book about this. And I was like,
Uh,
fine,
a friend of
I'll do
mine
it
sent
myself.
me a friend, actually Grace from Linden Tree, sent me this thread the other day, and it was something about like somebody needs to write the book where your Chinese spy and your FBI
Yeah.
agent
And your
are
FBI
like
agent fall
and
in love.
they fall in love or you guys become a throuple, something like that.
Yeah.
And she was like, you need to make that a whole series with a
Yeah.
straight
That's been going
couple, a
around
gay couple.
TikTok.
And I'm just like, I love this. Also, if anybody is going to write that book, why not the Chinese American daughter of immigrants?
Yeah. Yeah, she was telling me this and she was like, I was like, I want to read that book. And she's like, I want to too. I went looking for one and it was like, I'll do it myself. So I haven't gotten very far, but I started.
Always fun. Always fun
Yeah.
starting a new project.
I finished Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros and I am fully a Dane Atos apologist without too many spoilers because someone is taking forever and nobody bullied her yet. Dane Atos is Kale Westfall. I said what I said. And as we've established here, I love Kale and I'm going to love Kale. I always will. I'm seeing lots of similarities between these little Boy Scouts. Okay. That's what they are. They're Boy Scouts. I think we're going to love Dane in the end. And this is not related. This is not a Throne of Glass spoiler. It doesn't have anything to do with Kale. But I fear that Dane is not going to survive the series.
Ooh.
I fear he's going to find a love interest. I fear he and Violet will be friends again. And she'll be like, that is my best friend.
Hmm.
Him and Rhiannon are my best friends. And I fear something abrupt and upsetting is going to happen to Dane. I'm worried. I'm very worried.
Once again, I don't trust y'all fantasy writers about
No,
anything. Not a
no,
single damn thing.
nope.
So,
I'm nervous. I'm real nervous. So then I read Yin Yang Love Song by Lauren Kung Jessup. So we have Chrissy, who is a Chinese herbalist who is a victim of her family's curse. All of the women in her family are doomed to never actually find love, only heartbreak. And then Chrissy now runs a retreat for the brokenhearted with her aunties, the Wildflower Inn, which my heart is fine and I still want to go there. Like I'm not
mhm,
heartbroken, but I'm
mhm.
heartbroken that I can't go there because it's not
Yeah,
real.
yeah,
But it sounds like this place that's not real, but that's just because it's like magical, like a little
yeah.
haven paradise. Like I just picture butterflies just
I just want to
flying
be
around
there.
the
I just want to hang
trees.
out and be
Yeah,
there. And
like the
yeah.
most peaceful place.
Hmm.
Then we have Vin, who is half of the Chow Brothers, a world famous rock and roll cellist duo, which is so funny to me. But we have Lindsay Sterling, like she
Hmm.
sells out stadiums, so cellists could be rock and roll.
Yes.
They're also pretty well-known heartbreakers. So Christy and Vin have a little meet cute at a child's birthday party that they're both working at. And honestly, it's rude that I can't go to that party either
Oh my God,
because
right?
it's magical and absolutely ridiculous and over the top. And these are all things I love. So that it's
Hmm.
like the Four Seasons. It's like a
Hmm.
celebrity family
Hmm.
has their kid. And so they're like, we're going to do a Four Seasons party. So there's like spring, and then they brought in like sand from the nearby beach for summer, and then fall, and then winter has like snow, and they need jackets. And
Hmm.
it's like
It's
the most
magical.
immersive,
It's
crazy.
it's
Yeah.
the most like rich people thing ever.
Yes. Yes. And so I'm like, I want to go to that party.
Yeah.
So they have their little meet cute. They're both at this party. She's a professional in the world of heartbreak, immediately clocks it all over his brother Leo. She's like, that's a heartbroken human being. He has gone through a private breakup, even though he and his brother are like mega famous. He had a private relationship and it ended, and he's very sad about it. So she gives Vin her card and is like, call me. He needs some traditional Chinese medicine. He needs our services. So they leave the party convinced that they're never going to see each other again. And then Vin shows up with Leo to ask Chrissy for a huge favor. Basically, they were photographed just talking at this birthday party, and the internet is abuzz with these rumors of a budding romance. And, Vin is a heartbreaker. So they're like, ooh, what's he going to do to her? So Vin needs to promote his upcoming tour, and Chrissy needs to promote in full bloom, which is her and her auntie's new tea line. So they agree to go to events with each other, and they're going to hype up. She's going to build buzz for him with his tour. He's going to promote her brand, and it's going to be great. Oh, and Leo wants to check into the inn because he actually is heartbroken and isn't in for a
Yep.
heartbreak. And so Vin is like, okay, I'll stay here. But the only room for Vin is in the same converted shed that Chrissy lives in. So we're fake dating and there's only one shed. Obviously, we all know where this is gonna go. I'm about maybe not quite halfway through, but it's the Lauren Congestion book. I'm loving it.
This is one of my favorite things to do at Steamy LitCon this past year was to pitch this book to people because
Yeah,
it's a traditional Chinese herbalist chef meets a bad boy yo-yo ma.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
story. And they
right.
fake date and it's amazing. And
I love it.
it's so good.
It's so cute. Yeah, I'm loving it. I read The Proposal by Sonora Reyes, which more on that later. And then today, like while I was cooking dinner before we recorded, I started a book that my best friend Brandy recommended. She texted me today and was like, you have to listen to this book. So it's called Shardless by Stephanie Fisher. Have you heard of this?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'm going to read you the Storygraph page because I am so short into it and so new in it that
Hmm.
I don't really even have a story yet.
Yeah.
So it says, magic marked her for suffering. Magic will save her. Magic will lead her home. On Temperance, time magic is outlawed and suspected time mages are hunted. Humans are second-class citizens shunned by the immortal fae that live on the island. They even have a name for their kind, the Shardless. Tally is one of the lucky humans taken in by a fae noble and his family. She's lived a good life surrounded by people she loves. But when an accidental brush with magic causes her to see things, ghostly apparitions that give her small glimpses into the future, it has deadly consequences. The Sanctorum has returned to the island, and if they find her, they'll kill her. and anyone that tries to protect her too. This includes her best friend Sky. He was the boy that saved her, the man she could never have. And when he refuses to let her go, their actions might hold the power to reshape the world. An ancient evil is rising, and in order to protect those she cares for, Tally will have to sacrifice everything, including her heart. So
Oof.
Storygraph says it's perfect for fans of Sarah J. Maas and Holly Black.
Okay.
Say less to me.
Okay.
Like I said, I listened to it while I was cooking, so I'm just maybe half an hour into it, but I feel like it's going to get me through this last stretch before Onyx Storm. So I mean, I'm not mad.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's good so far. And she was like having to hype me up because the first section, this is not a spoiler because it's literally what's happening is the book intros. I can't believe she read this because she's a mom. I can't believe she kept going because it's a mother erasing her child's memories because the bad guys are coming, and if she doesn't know that any of them exist, they'll spare her. So she's erasing her child's memories and leaving her because she knows if I don't, she's gonna die. And I was like, she said, "Oh, I ugly cried," and I'm like, "I'm about to," and like I don't understand how she was like, "I'm gonna keep going," but she's like, "No, it's so worth the pain." She said, "I cried a lot, but it's so good."
My soul hurts.
I know.
Oh,
I know. And it's from the mother's point of view too.
I can't.
And she's like, "I need you to hear me. You're gonna go to sleep and you're not gonna remember this, but I need to say it anyways." And I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm trying to cook my white people tacos and this is gonna be extra salty because I'm crying in them. Yeah, it was
White people
taco night here tonight.
I
Look,
need you
have
to
to cook
explain to me
quick
what
things.
what is white people tacos?
Oh, tacos out the box.
Okay. I was
Like old
like
El Paso box tacos.
I was like, listen, what? I am not a
We
white
always
people.
joke, we and the twins joke that it's like if you cook tacos out of the old El Paso box, it's white people taco night.
That's
And
fair.
so
That's
I
fair.
have to cook quick things on Thursdays
Yeah.
because we record at 6:30 my time, which is dinner time. So
Right.
I cook something really quick and pork it down
Fair. Fair.
and it's gonna be extra salty because I was trying not to cry.
Oh my
Anyways,
goodness.
that's Shardless. She said there's two. She said that this author looks like she takes a while to write, but the book two doesn't leave off on a cliffhanger that's got you like ready to punch her in the face. But that there will be more books coming.
Okay.
So I will
That's
keep
fair.
you guys posted
That's
next
fair.
week with more info. And that was my week.
Okay.
What did you do this week?
This week I read The Queen's Rising by Rebecca Ross, which is book one of a duology. This was her debut, I found out. So you've got Brianna, who is sent to Magnolia House as a child to train to master a passion and get chosen by a patron. Some are born with a talent for one of the five passions, which are art, music, dramatics, wit, and knowledge. But Brianna really struggles to find what her passion is until she finally lands on knowledge. And this program at Magnolia House to become a passion is I think 7 years, and she doesn't figure out that she is a passion of knowledge until there's about 3 years left, so she has to
Oh,
learn everything
oops.
in that 3 years. And so all she wants is to get through these 3 years, become a passion, find a patron, and continue on with her life. Unfortunately, when the time comes to graduate from Magnolia House, she is left without a patron. Now, they live in, I want to say it's Valenia. There's a neighboring country, Mavana, which is a matriarchal society. It's always to be ruled by a queen, specifically a woman from the Kavanaugh family line, as they possess magic. That's just kind of how it's been. So now, in the present, months after Brianna has failed to secure a patron, a new opportunity arises when she begins having these strange visions that turn out to be ancestral visions of the fall of the Kavanaugh line.
Ooh.
So these visions that she's having are from her ancestor who was responsible for dethroning the Kavanaugh queen and also removing all of the magic from their line so that Mavana is left in chaos. And a king is appointed to rule over Mavana, which again is a matriarchal society. So this is a
Yeah.
big, weird ass
Ew.
fucking deal.
Ew.
But she tells this to the head of Magnolia House, who is like, hold on, I know somebody who can help you with these visions. She calls up her friend, who is like a disgraced lord, who offers Brianna patronage. But it's part of a larger plot to overthrow the reigning king of Mavana by finding the missing stone that restores the Kavanaugh magic and will restore the rightful queen to the throne. And war is brewing, obviously, and Brianna will have to choose between passion or blood. And it's excellent. It's Rebecca
Ooh,
Ross.
it's
It's
Rebecca
very good.
Ross.
And it actually, even though it's book one of a duology, it doesn't really leave off on a cliffhanger. Like
Yeah,
everything in that book is pretty self-contained. So I will be reading book two, obviously.
yeah,
But I'm not like mad that I have to,
yeah.
like that I'm like, oh my
Right.
God. So I love that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, just for patrons, when you started, I was making a face. It wasn't at you. It sounded like there was a helicopter flying over my house.
I saw
And
that
so
and
I was like,
I saw that
what
and I
is
was like, maybe
that?
I'll just let her explain it later because
Yeah,
I'm
it
gonna
did
lose my
like I don't
spot.
know why a helicopter would have been going over the house, but it was like hovering for a minute. It was
Weird.
strange. So I wasn't making a weird face that you were Rebecca Ross. It was that maybe there was somebody in the air here.
Something's going on.
Something brewing.
But yeah, after the cliffhanger of Divine Rivals, it was nice to not have that
You
in this
know,
book.
it almost came out of my mouth that sometimes she doesn't do that because I forgot about Divine Rivals because of her other I
The
can't remember
A
the names of them
Fire
now.
Endless.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if that's book
a
one or book
river
two.
enchanted and a
And A
fire
Fire
endless.
Endless. Yeah,
I don't remember there being a major cliffhanger, but I could be really wrong about that because it's been like a year.
who knows?
I remember they were great,
Yes, she
but
knows how to
she's
write.
not, she'll leave you on a cliffhanger too.
Yeah, she's not opposed to them.
Multi-talented.
Yes, exactly. Next, I read The Hurricane Warns by Taya Guanzan. I feel like I'm saying it wrong. I'm so sorry. So, growing up as an orphan in a nation ravaged by the Night Emperor, all Taliesin has ever known is the Hurricane Wars. She finds her family in the fight against the Night Emperor, but she holds a secret that may or may not turn the tide of the war. She has light magic that she can't really control, and it's also believed to have been eliminated years ago by the Night Emperor himself. On the other side of the war, you've got Prince Alaric, who is the Emperor's only son and heir, and he is tasked with eliminating all threats to the Empire's rule, and he does it pretty efficiently with his, drumroll, shadow magic.
Daddy.
He has never been bested until he sees Talison's light magic unleashed during battle and is inexplicably drawn to it.
Uh-oh.
The pair are on opposite sides of the war, but their magic combined could be the only thing that prevents a greater threat from ravaging the entire realm. This book is basically, I'm pretty sure it started as Rilo fanfic. I've never seen that Star Wars, so I can't confirm or deny, but I did picture Adam Driver as Prince Alaric.
Whew.
So
It also gives kind of Shadow and Bone vibes because you've got the Sun Summoner and the Darkling.
yeah, so it is book one. I believe it's a trilogy. So I just got my hold just became available for book two. So I will be following up on that soon. Next, I read The Proposal by Sonora Reyes, which we will talk about later. Make My Wish Come True by the awesome couple, Rachel Lippincott and Allison Derrick. I love that they write together. They're so cute. I'm obsessed with them both. You've got Arden James, who is Hollywood's hottest teen actor, but the bad reputation that she cultivated from her younger years threatens to take her out of the running for her absolute dream role. This is the role that she has been working for the past 4 years, and it could be taken away from her because they don't think she's reliable based on her reputation. That is until on the fly, her and her publicist make up a lie that she has a long-term girlfriend from back home in their little small town that is basically Christmas magic. And so, of course, Arden has to go back to her small hometown for the first time in 4 years to convince her former best friend, Caroline Beckett, to fake date her for this Cosmopolitan article that's going to put her reputation in a new light so that she can get this dream role. Now, Caroline, after being abandoned by her best friend and first crush, Arden, I would like to note that I accidentally wrote best fiend instead of best friend, and I think that's hilarious. Um, Caroline has spent the last 4 years working really hard to build up an amazing portfolio so that she can get into the top journalism program. So when Arden shows up with this crazy request for Caroline to fake date her for the holidays, Caroline balks at the suggestion, first of all, because you left me, you abandoned me, you broke my heart, essentially. Until Arden offers her the byline for the Cosmopolitan article that's going to be written up about Arden and Caroline's relationship during this holiday season. And Caroline's like, I'm getting a byline in Cosmopolitan. That's going to push my portfolio over the top. I can't say no to this.
Right.
So they fake date. Feelings, they're childhood friends. It's fake dating. It's during the holiday season. I mean, it's lovely. It's very sapphic yearning, written by a very beautiful sapphic couple, and I loved it.
Love.
Knives, Seasoning, and a Dash of Love by Katrina Kwan. You have Alexander Chen, who is one of the most talented chefs in the culinary world of French haute cuisine. He has a lot to prove and a massive chip on his shoulder if he wants to stay at the top of his game. And so he rules his kitchen with an iron fist. Think of what's Gordon Ramsay and how like he can be very like high strung and is yelling at people. That's Alexander Chen.
Mm-hmm.
Until the moment that Eden Monroe shows up as his newly hired sous chef. So Eden may or may not have embellished on her resume. She may or may not have said that she graduated from culinary school when actually she had to drop out of culinary school for reasons that we find out later.
Girl.
On top of that, she knows Alexander from culinary school back when he was still going by his real name, Shang. But he doesn't seem to remember her, even though he feels some sort of like pull towards her, and he can't quite figure out why. But she's hoping, she's like, he doesn't remember me, so I'm just gonna not say anything so that, he won't find out and I can keep my job, because she's trying to raise money to hire this like super expensive, best in the business private investigator to find her parents. When she was younger, she was at school for many hours and nobody came and picked her up, and so she ended up in the system. So now as an adult, she wants to find her parents.
Yeah.
And so she really wants to keep this job. So she's not telling Alexander anything, and she's hoping that her culinary instincts, which are fantastic, by the way, can keep her in this position, even though she never finished culinary school. But they butt heads more often than not. He's super grumpy. She's pure sunshine. And it's a tenuous situation, to say the least. But what happens when things boil over, pun fully intended, and they discover the feelings between them are a bit spicier than they thought.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Fae Bound by Sarah El Arifi. I'm probably saying that wrong, but I tried my best. So in this world, there are humans, there are fae, and there are elves. Now, we follow two elven sisters who believe that the fae no longer exist, because that's what they've been taught. You have Yiren, who was basically born on the battlefield. I think literally born on the battlefield, actually, because her mom was fighting and then kept battling.
Mm-hmm.
She has lived on the battlefield, and she knows that one day she's going to die on this battlefield. She is a warrior through and through, until one day she takes her unit and they go and investigate something, and I think all but her and one other person are killed because there's some weird magic that was protecting their enemies, and they were not able to hurt them in any way. And so when she comes back, they're like, hey, you fucked up, the penalty is death. But the ruler of their nation is her lover. So she's like, actually, JK, you're just exiled. So she has been exiled from the elven lands. And her younger sister, Lettel, is like, nah, I'm gonna go get my sister and I'm gonna bring her home because I'm not about that. So Lettel goes off to find Yiren and bring her back with Yiren's, I think, second in command, Ryan, who seems to maybe have a view of Lettel that is very grown up, let's say.
Oh. Oh.
So there are tensions there, but she's so focused on getting her sister, and he's like, I'll help you because first of all, that's my commander, and second of all, you're hot. Obviously, he doesn't say that. But anyways. So then they find each other out in the wild. Girin kills this, I forget what they're called, but it's like a magical beast. And then, dun dun dun, the Fae arrive and they're like, you've killed a prince. We're taking you prisoner. And they are... and they are now prisoners in the Fae realm. And that magical beast kind of, they like bond with the Fae, and that's when they like get their magic. That's when they learn the Fae language and all of that.
Oh, sad. It's their
And
dogs.
it basically, and so if the magical beast dies, the human dies.
Oh, I would love that. Let me pair my life to George Bailey real quick.
And so when she killed the beast, that also killed the prince. And so they're about to execute her. Lettel is really upset because, damn it, that's my sister. Ryan's upset because he was like, damn it, I was supposed to protect her. She's my commander. But as they're about to chop her head off, she bonds with one of the magical beasts. Never happened before. It only happens with Fae. Everybody's very confused. Like, wait a minute, are you part Fae? Nobody knows for sure. So now chaos ensues. Lots of things happen. It's very intense. There is the romance, and I loved it. Okay. I have 2 more. There was a lot of audiobook like reading this week. Fathom Folk by Eliza Chan. You have, what is her name? Mira, who is half siren, half human, and she has been promoted to captain of the border guard, which means she is able to, in theory, help the downtrodden people of the land. So the Fathom Folk are kind of like sirens and mermaids and like the mythical beings in this world. And then you have the humans. The humans are in power. They are biased against the Fathom Folk. She's half human, half siren. So she has a foot in both worlds, but she was born in the human world. So she's like, I don't know anything else. And they're like, no, you're somebody other. And it's a whole thing. And so her partner is like Prince of the Dragons, Kai, and his sister back in like the Fathom Folk land does something to piss off their mom, and their mom is like, no, we need to keep our reputation. So she exiles his sister Nami to the human lands, and so now she's with Kai and Mira, and she joins like a resistance that is like, we're gonna rise up against the humans. But it's not quite what it seems when things start going bad. And she's having to do things that she does not want to do. And it has ripple effects for everybody involved. And there was a very sad ending and also a cliffhanger. And I need book 2, please. Oops. Thanks. And last of Jade and Dragons by Amber Chen. This is Mulan meets Iron Widow. And
I think I have it.
It makes me so happy. So you've got this 18-year-old girl who dreams of becoming this world-class engineer like her father, but then her father is murdered and her entire world falls apart. And she finds evidence of who the murderer is, and she wants to investigate, and her brother is like, no, we're gonna leave this alone. I already did my best. And she's like, no, I refuse. So she leaves home and goes to try and enroll in, she goes and pretends to be a boy so that she can try and get to the Engineers Guild trial so that she can become an engineer. And she is stopped along the way by one of the princes, and he's like, you're not a boy. And she's like, please forgive me for lying. And he's like, hey, how about I sponsor you into the trials because you're never going to make it in time to register. And she's like, why would you do that? You know I'm a girl. And he's like, because.
Why not?
Because reasons. And so she is having to go through these trials to become an engineer, and at the same time is still trying to investigate the murder of her father because she's convinced that somebody in the guild is the one who either murdered him or put out a hit for somebody to murder him.
Yeah.
And it's gonna test everybody's relationship, and it ends a bit bloody, but also very satisfying, but also cliffhangery. And I did it, guys. I did it. Those last 3, I did not have notes for.
Do you have a fictional boyfriend this week?
I have a pair of fictional besties.
Okay.
Maybe a fictional found family. Han and Kenny from The Proposal. I'm obsessed with them.
Yeah.
They are like they're so different, and yet they work together as friends, as more, maybe more, and the friends that they surround themselves with. Uh, Fuck Jackie, first of all.
Yeah, no.
But like I love their little group dynamic. I love
Yeah.
it's Tatiana and is it Letty?
Letty.
Yeah.
Letty is my fictional bestie this week.
Yeah, and I'm just like they are just their little group is so cute and I love them.
Yeah.
And Kenny's family. I mean his
I
mom and
want
dad.
to go to his parents' house
Yeah.
just so his dad will make me snacks.
I want his mom to plan all of my events.
That too.
I want them to adopt me.
Yeah. I want
Yeah.
the Uncle Nacho to come over with the mariachi band
Oh, yes, please.
to every event. Like, why are
Yes.
you acting like you're embarrassed?
I also want to play with baby Mateo.
Yeah,
I just
that.
all of them, all of
Mhm.
them. Yeah. So that's my fictional people this week.
I just did fictional bestie of the week with Letty. They're such a freaking badass. They're
They
such a
are.
loyal friend. They
Mhm.
don't give a
Not one
they don't give a
fuck, and it's
and
the
I would just
best.
like I would kill to have somebody like that in my corner.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll square up.
Right. Like I
Like,
like the thing
I'll do your
is
makeup. I'll square up with somebody. I'm versatile.
right, exactly. And that's the thing. They're just so like they are so versatile. And it's like
Yeah,
I can sit
I
here
loved
and
it.
say I'm gonna throw hands all day, but at the end of the day, I'm a baby. I'm just a girl. I love you, but I'm just a girl.
Look, I'm usually pretty non-confrontational, but there I have had moments where I'm like,
I've been there.
yes,
I've been
that
there.
man
That
at
man,
that book sale
I
when he
still want to
started yelling.
punch that man in the face, dude. Ugh.
Who are you talking to?
Hmm.
Who are you looking at with that look on your face?
Hmm.
I know it's not any of us. I
Right.
know it's not.
Ugh. God, I'm gonna die mad.
Oh yeah, 100%. I didn't get to go to the book sale this year, but next year I'm gonna go and I'm gonna be like keeping my eyes peeled because I'm always spoiling for a fight with a man.
Hell yeah.
One like that, nah.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Smallest man who ever lived.
Yep.
That sound means we have an intruder alert.
Oh, this is such an exciting intruder.
So freaking excited. We have Snorrias. I'm so sorry I can't say it the proper way.
It's okay.
I have a really hard time like doing anything accented in my mouth. But we're here to talk with them about their latest. I think this is your debut adult romance, right?
Yes, it
The
is.
Proposal.
Oh, I love that you both have it.
It's
I
I'm
loved it.
obsessed with this cover. Everything
Thank
about
you.
it is amazing. I love that Thornelius is right there.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
We're gonna erase Luna.
Oh, I haven't gotten to Luna yet. I wanted to start with
The
Thornelius.
Luna erasure.
We both deserve the credit.
I
They-
know.
I'm glad they
I'm a
both
crazy dog person,
I'm
so I go
glad
to
they
Luna
both
first.
made it onto the
Yes.
cover. Like it's so perfect.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
so glad that they so I kind of suggested to put the original cover sketch that I got, it was like them and like kind of just like a plain room. And I was like, I feel like they wouldn't have just like a plain room.
yeah.
So I like
Yeah,
gave
like
them all
there's
these like ideas of
pizza
like background stuff
and
to
a
Yes.
put in there.
controller.
And they
Like
used my
Yes.
ideas.
There's so
they're
many
baby
like
angels, but they're also two dudes living in an apartment in their early 20s. There's a
right.
gaming controller
Yeah.
and a pizza
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
couch.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Exactly.
I love it. The little Easter eggs for the story on the cover, it's perfection.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we would love to start out with you, just kind of asking for the elevator pitch for the book for anybody who hasn't heard about it.
Yes. Okay. So the proposal follows two best friends since childhood who are now roommates and coworkers. And basically, one of them had just lost his previous job that sponsored his work visa. And so now he's in a tough spot. And the other one just gets out of an abusive relationship and decides we should get married so that you can get your green card. And they decide to pretend to be in love until they maybe fall in love for real. I don't know. Read the book to
Who
find out.
knows?
I have to tell you, I wasn't complaining about having to read your book. That was not it at all. But I was telling Karin, like, I'm not like really in the mood for a rom-com right now. Like, I'm a mood reader. And I was like, I know I need to start it, but I'm just not really in the mood. The second I opened this book, I read it in two sittings only because
Oh
like
my
I
gosh.
worked during the day and so I had to go to bed because I was going
Wow.
to have to get up for work. But I loved it so much. I could not put it down. So like you
Oh, that makes me
cured
so happy.
my I don't want a rom-com right now.
I
Like
love
for
that.
real. Yeah,
Wow,
it was
that is high
wonderful.
praise because if I'm not in the mood for a specific genre, it's very difficult to like get me to.
Yeah.
So, wow, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Oh
It's
my
so much
gosh.
So
fun.
this is like equal kind of equal measure of like light and fun rom-com, but then there's so many hard topics. I mean, we've got domestic abuse and homophobia and undocumented persons like fear and trauma around the possibility of deportation, parental neglect and abuse and addiction and abandonment. What was it like to juggle like such big contrasts and feelings between like when writing this story?
Yeah, so that is a really good question, and I feel like I really like talking about this because while it is a romance and there's like a really cute love story and all of that at the forefront, it is a love story. But I feel like for me personally, when I write books, I have a really hard time writing a, fluffy happy ending without any kind of, how to put this? It's like if I can't relate to the struggles of the character that they go through, then I don't feel like that's a happy ending I can relate to, if that makes sense.
It's
So
real
for me,
conflict.
Yeah.
yeah, and even if it's like, because of course, like most books have some kind of conflict, but for me, I usually have a hard time writing books where the conflict is only in the like romance or the
Hmm.
conflict is only in, like some kind of misunderstanding. Of course, we can have those in there and we do, but for me, it's like what goes into a person's life and everything, their identity and all those things, it makes up so much of like how they view the world and how they walk around and how they're treated and all these things. And so for me, writing like a cute, fluffy romance, that happy ending is something that I feel like I can relate to more if it's like all the other stuff in there is something that I could see myself experiencing. So that's not to say that there's like not merit in those like purely fluffy, happy books. Like, I think we need all of them. I think we need
Right.
such a
Yeah.
big variety of representation, not just trauma books and not just fluffy, happy books, but like books on every angle of the spectrum. And so I kind of try to like put my little drop of book stuff in the part of it that for me is like the happy ending, the romance, the sweet, joyful stuff, but also with characters that I relate to, that I feel like their struggles I relate to and their mindset is something that I could get into. So for me, that's where how I try to strike the balance so that it feels like a more like for me cathartic happy ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like for me personally, that's like where I get my catharsis is like seeing
Yes.
myself in a
Yeah.
character who gets a happy ending, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah,
No, it
absolutely.
does.
And especially in this day and age when like they're trying to kind of eliminate us, like make us
mhm,
more invisible. It's nice to be able to
mhm.
have ourselves more represented in media. So I love that you put that in there to kind of show like real life shit happens. Like
Yeah, thank you.
it's not all just romance.
Yeah,
Um
because it's also like how do you it's like there's kind of a line between something being like overwhelmingly traumatic to read, right? And something feeling like it has like real everyday like struggles. And that line is different for everybody, right? Like one read
Right.
that one person might find super fluffy with just like a little bit of conflict, someone else might be super triggered by it,
hmm.
like,
Right.
but I try my best to kind of walk the line as well as I can with what works for me. And hopefully there are people out there who also it works for them. So yeah, because I feel like, yeah, I feel like where there is conflict, there's like also like, joy and love and happiness and resistance and all of these beautiful things that I feel like they aren't like fully separate. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. for
And
sure.
you did such an incredible job of like putting the reader in, especially Han's shoes.
Hmm.
I'm like a blonde girl from Georgia. I'm never gonna know what it feels like to fear deportation. I
Right.
mean, I was born here. My parents were born here, but I could like feel my throat closing in.
Hmm.
There's, I don't think that this is too much of a spoiler, but someone gets pulled over by the police for speeding, and there's that throat closing fear of, is this like, is this
Is this the
about to happen
moment?
to me?
Yeah.
And I could feel his fear, even though it's something that I would never experience in my own life. So you did an exceptional job at like opening eyes. I always
Hmm.
try to be have my eyes open anyways, but like I've never felt something like
Yeah.
that where it was like, oh God, I felt like I was in the back seat with them watching
Yeah,
it play
Yeah.
out.
I think it's really interesting when they're because obviously not everyone is going to relate to that specific experience if you haven't been there, but there are
Right.
a lot of things that you can relate to, like without being an immigrant or without being necessarily, Mexican or autistic or queer or whatever the intersections of their identities are. Like, there's something that I feel like everyone can kind of relate to, whether it's like, Kenny's inability to make decisions, or like, Han's emotional constipation, and like all these things I feel like when you relate to like certain aspects of a character, it makes those parts that you don't necessarily relate to, they can still feel like something that you can,
Yeah.
you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
You're
for
still a
sure.
human being and you still
Yeah,
have
like
these
Right.
human being emotions with empathy. It
yeah,
gives you
yeah,
empathy for what other people with different lived experiences have gone through or will go through or are going through right now.
yeah,
Yes.
That was really
exactly.
special to read.
Yeah.
Thank you.
100%.
Yeah.
So I'd love to know where kind of this idea came from. I know we always joke. I mean, I don't know about you, but me and my friends are always joking kind of like, and they were roommates, like about lesbians in history, you know? So
Yeah.
this is kind of that, but
Achilles and
it's
Patroclus were
right, but
Yep.
roommates.
these are boys. And so like where did this story come from? Did they come out fully fledged or where did
Um,
the inspiration come from?
Yeah, funny story. It actually originally was called And They Were Roommates. Um,
Really?
and my agent was like, maybe we should come up with like a, more serious title. And then my more serious title was The Proposal.
I mean, it just hit me that like through the whole book, Han says, bro, bro,
I was
bro.
literally just thinking that. I'm like,
It's
wait,
just
Yeah,
this
like
is
like
a
it's
play
his
off
like
of that.
defense mechanism.
it's
Um,
called the proposal.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But when I first came up with it, it was like I was thinking about the movie The Proposal, And I was just thinking, I was like, how come every green card romance I've seen is with like a white immigrant who
Mm,
probably won't get deported anyway?
Right.
Like,
that's
and
a
I'm just
good
like, I
point.
feel like
Yeah.
it's like okay, yeah,
Always a
that
Canadian.
happens, sure, but like most people who are trying to do to avoid that consequence,
Mhm.
who would face that consequence most of the time would not be,
Sandra
Canadian.
Bullock.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I remember just like thinking about that, like like I especially with like this country we live in, when you think of, an undocumented person, you think of a specific person. So why isn't that something that's represented in these green card romances that we see all the time? You know what I mean?
Good
Yeah.
Um,
point.
so I was just like, oh, I'll probably do that. And then I saw like I think it was like a Reddit post or something of there's actually a few different Reddit Easter eggs in this book, but the first one was essentially like the thing that like clicked it for me was like someone was like saying something about like, oh, like how come now that like gay marriage is legal, how come like two best friends can't just like get married, like like they to stay or whatever. And I was like,
Yeah.
that sounds like a really good story. Like if they're quote unquote just as best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of went from there, and it's changed a lot since the initial idea, like a lot, a lot, a lot. But yeah, I'm like pretty happy with what it ended up
For
becoming. So
Oh, absolutely. It's so lovely.
thank
It
you.
really is.
I have like a soft spot for this book, even though it's like I don't like compare my books in the way, oh, I think this one is better than this one or whatever. So it's not that I think The Proposal is like my best work or whatever. I just like it. Like I like it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
It's
Like
so
I
Yeah.
have
like,
a soft
even
spot
though
for
it's
it.
so heavy, it's like you just want to like
Yeah.
you just want to like
You just want to
squeeze it.
hang out with
Yeah,
all of
like
them and yeah,
Yeah.
spend time with them.
I think this is the only book I've read that I felt that with of the like because it's my first romance, right? And I think that's like what a romance does is like gives you like like
Yeah, like
Mr.
little
Feet or whatever.
squishies.
And like I love my other books, but this is the first book that I wrote that I felt that specific thing with. So it's special for me. I
Special.
like it. It's
Yeah.
It is
It
special.
is
Like
special.
we're fantasy readers a lot here, and I normally like reserve like gushing to my husband about books when it's like it's this epic fantasy where this happens and there were dragons. I like gushed about this book my whole drive home from getting allergy
oh
shots on the phone with my husband today, and I was telling him all about it.
oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah, and he was like, "That's so like it sounds so scary, but so good." Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was telling him about Han's experience and how like Kenny is doing this, what he thinks at the time is this selfless thing, even though like spoiler alert, they were roommates. Like, but like the journey of finding those feelings. Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that like most stories, like we were saying, always have a conflict, and we know most stories that we love have a villain or the outside source of conflict. But rarely do I have such a visceral reaction to a villain as I did with Jackie.
Fuck
Um,
Jackie.
what goes into
Ugh.
writing a character that fosters so much loathing from the reader? I wanted to jerk her by
Unfortunately,
her hair.
it's knowing people like that.
Oh
Yeah.
no. Ugh.
That's the key to it is if you know
God.
someone who
God.
like makes you feel like that. Yeah, so unfortunately I have had multiple Jackies
Oh,
enter
I'm
and
so
leave
sorry.
in different ways. And yeah, so it's interesting to me too because like most people have a similar reaction of like, wow, fuck Jackie, obviously, right? We all hate Jackie at
Yeah.
some point. But it is interesting to see there are like polar opposite reactions sometimes of
Mhm.
like people who are like feel represented by the fact that there is like someone who treats the main character this way. And then there are people who are like, oh, this feels like not realistic, like nobody's actually like that evil. And like I've had people tell me that quite a few times, which like I get and I'm happy for them. I'm happy
Mhm.
for them that that is their experience
You don't know
because
somebody capable of being so
Yeah.
hateful.
yeah, because to be honest, I actually toned her down a lot, which is like
Oh
wild.
Oh
Because
wow.
the original Jackie was like, more two-dimensional, but like more like to me felt more realistic because, I'm biased and I hate Jackie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I wrote Jackie how I felt about Jackie, not how maybe the
Somebody coming in
objective
reading
Jackie
her.
would be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to like go in and try to give her like try to like make people see like, not to justify anything she does, but like why
No.
she does
Right.
it and to be like, this is how what is happening in her brain right now kind of
Mhm.
thing, which I hated. But
Yeah.
I I think it is important to do that sometimes, like with villains. Like it did make me understand a little bit more certain people, even if I don't think that absolves anyone or I don't think it
No.
should. And I had never like she is not supposed to be like redeemed in this story at all. Like she's just like a person that they need to like move on from, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I don't even know if I answered your question. I went on a tangent. I'm so
No,
sorry.
I
that was
just kind of
great.
wanted to talk about Jackie and how
How much
like
we
what writing
God.
that was like because whew,
Yeah. That
and
I
how annoying is it that she's an abusive character and I was like I want to drag her by her hair. Like
I
I
wanted
that's
to
what
literally
pull her
was
out of the
so
pages.
tempted to kill her off.
Oh,
I was like, can she
I
get
would
hit
have
by a bus?
clapped.
I literally wanted to pull like a Regina George and just like have her get hit by a
yes.
bus, but except actually die. Like that's what I
Yeah. Oh
I had to
God.
like my agent had to like because I was like, I know this would change the genre. I know it would. But can I do that? And she's like, that's a different book. I'm like, you're right. But yeah, so it
Just
just
write like a book, like a spin-off book in the same world where she like
yeah.
Yeah.
it's not a romance
Or
and she
do it
does
Do it under some like do it under a fake name and put it on Wattpad and call it fanfic
Like put it on like
so that we get to
AO3.
experience her death.
My God, she's so
Yeah,
awful.
and
How can you
that's
be
not the
that
first time I wanted to
hateful?
like kill off a character in a contemporary type of story that is not supposed to be that type of genre. I wanted to do it with the Luis Ortega Survival Club too, but I unfortunately that would have also changed the genre, so I didn't do it. But you know, sometimes you
Eventually,
just
you
have
got
to
to write in
like,
the genre where you can
Yeah.
kill them
yeah,
off.
oh,
Kill.
I am,
Oh,
but it's gonna be a
good.
while before anyone sees those.
Ooh,
I
But
love that.
eventually.
Well, speaking of future projects, would love to know like what I know you just had I think an announcement for a book, but what else can we expect from you?
So I'm actually so relieved to finally have announced that other book. So for anyone who doesn't know, if you have heard of my first book, The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School, I don't even know if this is the English version. It is the English version. Okay. So if you know of The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School or if you've read it, there is a character in that book, the main character, Yami's brother, Cesar, who is going to have his own book and it comes out in September. It's called The Golden Boy's Guide to Bipolar and it's, it takes place after the events of the first book, so it's not like a same time. It's after the first book and it's his journey of, figuring himself out after a new diagnosis and, mental health things. It is probably my favorite book I've written so far, just because it's like very close to me and I struggle with that. And so it felt really nice to like have like bipolar in the title and they just like did not push back on that at all. And so
Oh, I love
that
that.
made me really happy.
Yeah.
That is going to be the next thing after the proposal comes out. I don't know that I can say too much about the next things. I do have two other contracted projects that will hopefully be 2026. Hopefully, we'll see, but one of them at least will be 2026. And all I can say is that I am doing something new. So there's going to be a different kind of, like a different genre that you haven't seen from me before. And there's going to be one adult and one young adult. So there's going to be another adult following the proposal, not a spin-off though, it's not in the same world, and then another young adult after the Golden Boy, and that will also not be in the same world. So two new things. I don't know like how much I can talk about.
Publishing is so weird because it's
yeah.
like you've got all
Yeah,
of this ready to go, but you're like,
yeah.
wait, but it's a secret?
Okay, so we have a few questions that we always ask our authors, and this is where every media that you've ever consumed, every book, every
Gone.
movie goes out of your brain.
Hmm.
So we have a segment that we call fictional boyfriend of the week. It doesn't have to be a boyfriend. Karen's had a fictional granny. I had Letty was my fictional bestie this
Oh,
week
cute.
I picked
because
Yeah.
I love them. I'm
everybody. I was
obsessed
like
with them.
the little fictional family that in
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
was
she
like
picked everybody.
everybody. I'm like the whole
That's so
book, just
funny.
except for Jackie. Everybody.
Right. Jackie
But do
and
you
like
have
the manager at
Oh
the
yeah.
restaurant. Those are
Yeah.
Daniel?
the two
Fuck
bad
him.
ones. Yeah. I don't even remember his name. He doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's not that
It's
important.
just because it's that's the middle name of someone I dated. So I was already like,
Oh, okay. Fair.
"Ugh." Yeah. So do you have any like fictional characters that you were like, that's my bestie, that's my boo thing, that's my grandma?
Oh,
It doesn't have to be anybody you wrote.
in the
Just like
bro.
in any
Oh, not in the
media.
proposal, just
Just
like
any,
any
yeah,
No, it
media.
could be
just
anywhere you
across
Okay,
write.
okay.
media.
Ooh, okay, that's a good question. Ooh, okay.
See, people
Wow.
typically fall into either I have it like I'm a locked and loaded, I always know, like I always have that answer ready.
Hmm.
Karen, I have to tell her
I
hers.
have
I have to
her.
remind her.
I have her because she'll tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like fandoms I've been really, really like into. I love Young Justice. So my like fictional son is Jaime Reyes. Like literally I birthed him. We have the same last name, so obviously,
That's canon.
clearly he's mine.
That's canon.
Yeah, he's my son. Um, so yeah, him, and not just from Young Justice, like in all iterations of like DC Comics, but the Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle is my favorite Blue Beetle, obviously because he's my son.
Yes.
So yeah, I love him. Oh my gosh, it's so hard not to just info dump about him right now because I love him so much. terrifying.
You're like me
Yeah.
anytime Aaron Warner comes up. I'm like, I need to tell you everything.
You
Yeah,
even
like
just hint at it. She's like, let me tell you.
Look,
yeah, no, he's like
She,
such a cinnamon roll. Oh my gosh. Like my goodness.
I love
I
it.
will resist. I will resist temptation.
I
Um,
love that answer, especially because it never occurred to me that I could have fictional children.
yeah.
This is
yeah,
I wait
game
a
Is
minute.
it
changing.
life-changing?
It is. I'm a mom. I should have thought of this. This
That's
changes
funny.
everything.
Yeah, and they don't even have to be younger than you to
No.
be your
Yeah.
children.
No.
Like, because I have, okay, who's a child that, well,
Well, like the
maybe
other
they
thing is
weren't,
like I read a lot of YA and I'm like, "Oh my God, I love them." But in my mind they're actually like in their 30s. Like I know it's YA and they're
uh-huh,
teens, but
but
they're
they're your like
actually
peers.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I get that. I agree.
that's fair.
Their
Yeah.
their canon age is not relevant
Or it's
because
like
in my
that's their
mind
backstory of
yeah,
like who they are now, you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I have in most things, there's like a character that I really gravitate towards. But yeah, the ones that I've really, really, really enjoyed, Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle is a big one. And then I don't know if anyone has seen The Untamed. It's a C-drama based on a like queer Chinese novel that turned into a bunch of different adaptations, but the Untamed is the one that is like live action on Netflix. So, so good. But the character that is my son is Wen Ning, and he is just my son. He's
Yeah,
adorable, and I love him dearly.
I love
Not even
that.
one of the main characters. This always happens to me
Doesn't
when
have
it's
to
like
be.
not
No,
a
it
main
doesn't have to be.
character.
She always
Um,
it's funny because like she'll be like, "Oh my God, this is my fictional boyfriend." And I'm like, "But the side character, the
With
best
Shatter
friend."
Me, I'm like, I'm an Aaron Warner girly.
And
And
I'm
she's
out
like,
here
I'm
like,
Kenji Kishimoto all
it's
day.
Kenji. Like,
Kenji
what are you talking
Kishimoto is
about?
all I need.
So,
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had like a fictional boyfriend or like baby or whatever. Like I feel like
Yeah.
nothing romantic. Like I don't feel that.
yeah.
Like, but I do feel like I am in no way a maternal person at all. Except when it comes to fictional characters, I will like take them
You're like,
and
they're my
You know,
babies.
that's
yes, I will
fun.
cradle them in my
I will
arms.
collect them.
Yes,
Yes.
I
Yes. I love
yeah.
that.
So that's
I
how
love that.
any maternal energy that I have ever possessed goes to fictional characters.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's
but
fair. Some
I
people just, yeah, that's how you get it out. It's fine. I'm
yeah,
here for
yeah.
that.
I wanted
Yeah,
to
so
mother Kenny and Han actually, because it was like, what do you mean you have cleaning day? I'm so proud.
That's so
You have cleaning
cute.
day to clean your apartment.
So cute. And I
Oh my
love that they
gosh.
made it. It's like so like quote unquote manly because it's a competition too. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so funny. I love it.
Yeah, I got that from some of my friends. Like growing up, like I had well, I was like a little younger than them, but I had like a like older brother who like in his apartment, his friends they had like a cleaning race thing. So like put that in there
I
because
love
I thought it was
I
that.
like really
love that.
funny.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other question that we always ask our guests, we know that we love your book. We'll be recommending it nonstop, but we'd love to know what are you reading or watching and recommending?
So I recommend there are actually a lot of good books that are like about to come out.
Oh yeah.
So, the same day that my book comes out, there's another, and I think I'm just gonna like stick to like queer BIPOC romance right now because
Yes.
otherwise there'll be too many options. But queer BIPOC romance, the same day as mine comes out a book from Carmen Lee, I think the last name is. I'm so bad at remembering names, but first name is definitely Carmen. And it's called, I think it's called The Relationship Mechanic. It's the same author who wrote The 710 Split. You've heard of that one?
Yeah, I'm
Uh-huh.
Yes, Carmen
like
Lee. I was correct.
I was like, it
Look
Excellent.
at
sounds
you.
correct in my
Yeah.
mind,
Yeah, so
but
The
my mind
Relationship
is
Mechanic.
untrustworthy.
Yeah, and that one comes out the same day as The Proposal, which is this coming Tuesday, January 21st. I don't know if it's this coming Tuesday by the time this will come out, but
It's
it'll
the
It's
24th.
Friday. It's
Yeah,
Friday
so it's
after
already
the pod.
out.
It's out.
Okay,
It's
so it's
out
out
now.
now. Go get it. But The Relationship Mechanic, There's also coming out a week after mine is Julian Winter's adult debut
Oh,
as well,
yes.
adult romance debut. And it's called I Think They Love You. Me and Julian have been doing a couple of Instagram lives together lately, and they've been so fun because I feel like when it comes to, marginalized authors, a lot of the time we're like all pitted against each other of like, oh, well, there can only be one successful one, or like they're like the publishers just kind of like act like there can only be one. Especially since me and Julian are both of our books have like fake dating. They're both, you know, two men of color, and yeah, so we thought it would be cool to kind of like team
Yeah.
up, and
Yeah,
we did some
Yeah.
like
that's smart.
competitions over Instagram Live because it was like, oh, if they want us to like compete, well, just do it instead of so I'm really excited to get that one. There's also I think there's in April, there's a couple, and one of them might be later than April, but definitely one of them in April. Johnny Garzavia also making their adult romance debut. There's a lot of YA authors moving into adult romance right now.
There are.
And
Now that
that
you're
is
saying
with
it, I'm like, oh, yeah.
yeah. And that's with a book called Futbolista, which if you've read Johnny's debut, it's 1500 Miles from the Sun. Futbolista is actually kind of a spin-off of that book following like a side character. So it's not really like technically related at all, but there's like a character in there that this one is about now that he's in college. So
I
there's
love that.
that one. And then Lila Lee also has an adult romance coming out
I
this
love
year.
Lila. I
Me
love and
too.
focus.
Yes.
I've been waiting. The moment she's first like announced, I'm like, why is it not in my inbox? I would like it
Yeah,
right
truly.
now. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I love it.
Yes. So those are the ones that are coming out soon, like in the near future. There's so many. So one that came out recently, Adib Karam's I'll
I'll
Have
have
What
what
He's
he's
Having.
having.
That one is also, queer adult romance from a YA author. Um,
I feel like
Kisoko
you guys had a
Jackson
club
as
at this
well.
point where
Yeah,
y'all were
Yeah,
we
like,
like
truly.
listen,
It's like,
we
like
were YA.
yeah.
we're
Let's jump into
Yeah, I mean, when your demographic continues to get banned, you move into an
fair
area where they have less,
yeah.
authority to,
I think the other
authority and
thing too
control.
is like you've built this readership and that readership is growing up. So you're kind of
It's gonna
growing
grow
with
up.
them
Yeah,
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
So
exactly.
that's a good
I
point.
Yeah,
love
I think
that.
that's really sweet too, because there's like people like with my first book, it came out in 2022, and so there will be people like, coming of age, getting older, and then as the proposal comes out, they're like adults now and they can read that
Yeah.
one. And I think it's really cool that like people can grow with the
Yeah.
author.
It's
Um,
very fun. We're just 2025 is just like feeding us.
yeah,
Yeah.
it really is.
I'm so excited for 2025 and all the stories that are coming. It's
Yes.
so exciting.
We are winning this year.
Yeah, we
Um,
kind of had to, quite
Yeah,
frankly.
please,
yeah, seriously.
please keep
Um,
winning. We
oh,
need
Adriana
you.
Herrera. I'm just gonna say a bunch of authors.
Yes.
Adriana Herrera, Rebecca Weatherspoon, Dominic Lim, Alexis Daria, Alyssa Cole. Those are all the ones that I didn't already mention that
Hmm.
are on here. So yeah.
I'm very proud that I recognized every single one of those names. It makes me
Yay.
so happy because I'm
And
like,
Yeah.
one of
I
them
feel
even was
like,
a podcast bestie.
yes, we love Dominic here. He,
He's been with
Oh,
us
yeah,
twice.
he's been with
oh
us
my
twice.
gosh.
Twice.
I
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
love
both
that.
books. And he's actually like local-ish to me. So my daughter, every now and then, she'll be like, "Can we go have dinner with Dom?" And I'm like,
Oh, that's really
I,
sweet.
"Oh, let me." Yeah, I love it. I feel like I'm always like in my little niche, and so like when people throw names out there, I don't always know them, but I like recognized all of those names. So I'm like,
Nice.
I did it.
Yeah.
I did it, guys.
Yeah, I feel like it's also like I feel like when you're in that niche, like because it's not that big of a niche, let's
Yeah.
be real.
No,
So
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like I feel like there's like if you're talking about, like adult fantasy or whatever. It's there's so many options. Like
Yeah.
Right.
limiting it down to like this, queer BIPOC romance
Yeah,
adult.
that's true. That's
There's
true.
like I'm not saying there's like not more. There are obviously a
Right.
ton
Oh,
more.
yeah.
We did focus on that list. We focused on like traditionally published, like decent sized publishers because we wanted to emphasize that there should be more. Like
Yeah.
publishing should really give more support towards that. So that's kind of like where we're coming from of like, come on, publishers, like let's
Yeah.
go.
It's time to
My
get up with the times.
Yeah.
my goal is to be on that list one of these days.
Oh my gosh.
We're getting there.
It's
We're
not a goal, it's your future.
Oh my
oh,
gosh.
I love that. Sorry, we have kept you
Okay,
so
so
long.
we
No, no, no. I
We
I just yawn sometimes. Like it has nothing to do with anything.
no,
well, we don't
I
want to
looked at
keep
the clock
you.
and I
We've
was like,
gone
oh
like
no.
way over what we
Yeah.
told you we would be keeping you
That's
for.
okay. It's the
But
last
we
thing
do
I'm doing
have
today, so it's fine.
we do have a little bit of bad news.
Yeah, we do, just a
Okay.
little bit.
Okay.
So now that you've been on the podcast, you're actually legally obligated to come back for future book
Okay.
releases. We're so
Okay.
sorry. We don't make the rules. We just enforce
Oh, you
them.
don't? Okay.
It's
Yeah.
just it wasn't us. It was some magical,
It was
mystical.
the universe. They
Yeah.
did it.
Okay, well, I have one in September, so
Yay!
Yes.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you so much for hanging out. Everybody, when this episode is airing, it's in the world.
The
Go get
broposal,
it. The
sonorones.
proposal. It exists in the world. You need to read this book.
I'm telling you, I'm like it cured my mood read.
She
Like,
was truly like, I'm not in the mood for a rom-com.
and I was not complaining. It was not that I
No.
didn't want to
no,
read
yeah,
it. It
like
was
sometimes
just
you
She was
just
like,
need,
I want to read it, but I'm like, my brain is not
my brain
letting
is
me.
in like fantasy
yeah,
mode. But I was like,
yeah.
I'm gonna start, and it was like
Yes.
everybody
So,
needs to read this
go
book. It's
pick
so
it
good.
up.
Oh, I love
It's
that.
out now. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank
We
you, Sarah.
can't
Thank you
wait
so
for
much.
everybody to read this book. And if
Thank
you
you so
want, guys,
much.
come in my DMs because I want to talk to more people about it. It's
I
so
love
good.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. This was really fun.
Oh my gosh.
We've had a
Thank you.
blast. We'll talk to you
We'll
soon.
talk to you soon.
Okay, see you in September,
Bye.
baby.
Yeah.
Yes, September.
Bye.
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 I
I love them so
Oh my
much.
God.
One of us, one of us, one of us.
So,
One of
oh my
us.
God, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed.
My face
I
hurts from
truly,
talking to them.
truly never occurred to me I could have fictional children.
No, what the hell is wrong with us?
I don't know.
Why wasn't one of the kids in Infinity Kings our children?
We're dumb. We're
Honestly, I feel like Kenji Kishimoto could be my fictional child. Claimed. He's my
okay,
son.
mother-in-law.
It's fine. He's my son. My son.
Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. Like truly my cheeks hurt. My non-existent abs hurt from the laughing. I will
Yeah.
get abs from the laughing. We're manifesting that now.
I love that.
So
I love
much
that.
fun.
I love them. That
Yay.
was so much fun. And
Yay.
I'm not like blowing smoke up anybody's ass. I truly could not put this book down. And I gushed about it to Josh.
I love
Today.
that. That is one of my favorite things is that you gushed about it to Josh because
Yeah.
like in my brain I'm just like Josh only cares about the dragons and the
Yeah.
fantasy.
He doesn't even care about that.
I know.
I mean, he listened to Fourth
listens.
Wing and liked
Yeah.
it. Then he's trying to get through Throne of Glass, but he hasn't listened
Yeah.
to it in a while. Like, so he'll get engaged in some of it. He just watched all of Shadow and Bone, and now he's mad because there's no more scenes.
There's no more.
He's like, I'm mad at you for showing me this now.
Oh man. But I
But
love
yeah,
it.
like, I mean, he'll listen if I talk about him. Obviously, he loves
Right.
me. But yeah, I normally would not tell him much about a rom-com
Right.
just because like he would
Yeah.
be like, okay.
Okay, cool.
But near about the whole drive home, I was like, and then
Yeah. So good. Go get a copy.
now.
Okay.
You want to do an announcement?
I do want to do an announcement. You guys, our second ever three-peat offender is coming to the podcast next week. And of course, it is Lauren
I
Cook-Jessen.
don't have my physical copy yet, so I have digital.
I'm just so excited. We're going to talk about Yin Yang Love Song. I'm so, so excited to have her back and to talk about this book. It's so exciting. Also, she just revealed her new seals for this book, and they're so pretty.
Yeah.
They're so cool. I'm like, I want a Chinese seal with my name on it and pretty
Yeah.
pictures. Also, Karen's Sing thing, who carves her seals for her, is actually local to me. And I'm like, let's be besties.
Yeah.
I want to be friends with you. This is so cool. So, yeah, I'm very excited to talk to Lauren again.
I just need everyone to compliment me for the fact that I read it a week early. Like
That's
that
cute.
doesn't happen, besties. That does not
I
happen. But
know.
here I am.
We're getting shit done. This is the year that we are actually like productive. I don't know who we
I
are.
mean, you're saying that really early into the year. Let me knock on some
I
wood
know. It's
because
going pretty well though. It's going pretty well. I mean, I know I've only done one episode so far, but like I knocked that thing out on a Sunday
yeah.
and I gave our patrons early access on Tuesday. It used to be Thursday and now it's 2 whole days earlier. You guys,
Yeah.
who am I?
We're gonna keep it up.
We got this. I'm so proud of us.
Yes.
Yay. Okay,
All right.
time
You
for a
want to do a
spiel.
spiel?
Yay. If you enjoyed this episode, and why wouldn't you? It was excellent.
We're a delight.
We are, and so is Sonora.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like, follow, and subscribe wherever you're listening to us. Follow us on social media. We are at the Incoherent Fangirl on all the things. I did say last week we weren't on Blue Sky. We are this week, but it's only at Incoherent Fangirl because apparently our handle is too long, which is
I
very rude.
hate that it's your handle dot blue sky dot
Ugh.
whatever. Like, let's get rid of all of that.
Yeah, that's
That
dumb.
tail matter. We don't need
Whatever.
all of that.
Whatever, dude. Gross.
Eventually that's coming, I'm sure, but
It has to. I'm
for
sure
now I hate it.
people are being like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Visit our website, theincoherentfangirl.com, where you can also stream all of our episodes as well as read our blog. Subscribe to our Patreon for early access to podcast episodes. Full like 3 days early, guys. Like
Look at you.
I'm so proud of me. As well as full video episodes and exclusive bonus content. And speaking of fun stuff, we have our merch shop. You can go to theincoherentfangirl.com/shop. I was supposed to remind you of something today and I totally forgot about
Yep.
it. We'll talk about
I
it afterwards.
thought about it while I was at work and I was like, I got to do that when I get off. And then
And
I'll do it when we hang
we
up.
log off.
Yeah.
And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, suggestions, design ideas, you want to tell us that we're pretty, we will accept all of that in our inbox, theincoherentfangirl@gmail.com. We love hearing from y'all. We especially love when people take the time to tell us that we're pretty because we really, really love the little ego boost.
Yeah.
And of course, one last way to support the podcast is to rate and review wherever you are listening to us.
Give us those words.
You know we love the words here, guys.
Yes, 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 yes.
She is at Mandy Perv on all the things.
She's at Ms. Made in China on all the things.
And once you followed us on social media and you followed the podcast on social media, you can head on over and do some more self-care. You know we love that here. Head over to herecomesthenerd.com. Use code FANGIRL to get 20% off your first order.
Then once you've got all your art and your pins, you're going to go to onceuponabookclub.com and get a subscription, get a box that's in their shop, get some goodies. We have 2 codes for you to choose from. We don't care which one you choose. They do not stack, but we love you no matter which one you choose. You can use either code Karin10 or Mandy10 for 10% off, but you just have to make sure you spell Karin right or you get no percent off and Sonora is going to kill you off in their next book.
Yes.
So
yeah, we definitely agreed on that. They're in the know.
Yeah. We just cut it out of the episode, but they are fully on board with killing your name off in their next book.
100%. And speaking of people who like to kill characters off in books, you want to head over to amberdlewis.com and add like 10 of everything to your cart and use code FANGIRL10 and you'll get 10% off the 10 of everything, which means you've got things for free. That is how math works.
Hello, we are mathematicians.
Mm-hmm.
Wizards of the magical kind. Hello, mathematical kind. And then I don't know how to use
Freudian
words anymore.
slip.
Yep. That's what I'm here for. So then, last but not least, we're going to go support the show husband because he listened to me talk about a rom-com and actually had some like thoughtful insight and was very interested in asking questions about it and all of that.
I love that.
Um, so you're gonna go follow at Searchers Believe on all the things and at the Paranormal Mind on all of the things. That's his like paranormal investigation group and podcast. And if you'd like some Searchers merch, you can go to searchersbelieve.com/shop and use code fangirl10 for 10% off. But more importantly, we have Beacon TV, which is a new streaming platform focusing on all. You're gonna make me self-conscious now.
I won't look.
Paranormal, true crime, and horror.
No, I like it when you say it your
Horror.
way.
Horror content. So yeah, all of the spooky stuff. I know it's not spooky season anymore, but it's spooky season all of the time here.
It's in our
So
hearts.
if you go to streambeacontv.com, you can use code fangirl10 to get 10% off of your subscription. Subscriptions start at like $5 a month, so like a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And you can have access to all kinds of spooky, creepy stuff. They're in the middle of filming a reboot of like it's not a reboot because it's not associated or affiliated, but with the cast of the Holzer Files, they're out on a brand new adventure, which was a pretty popular ghost hunting show. He's filming an urban exploration show this weekend that's going to be really fun, really cool. Don't urban explore without permission because that's trespassing and we don't want you to break the law. There's a lot of exciting things coming. So
Yay.
yeah, go follow at Stream Beacon TV on all the things. Support the
Yay.
show husband.
I would also like to say that while you were doing that, for some reason, Zoom decided to ask me if I was playing music. So apparently your voice is very musical.
I'm oh, I'm a
Congratulations.
fairy. She was a fairy.
And that was
That's the
the Incoherent
musical
Fan.
incoherent fangirl.
Thanks for
Thank
listening. We
you. We
love
love you.
you. Bye.
Bye.
We are sponsored by our friends at Here Comes the Nerd. Pins, stickers, magnets, and more. Here Comes the Nerd has happy art for all fandom-loving hearts. New customers can use coupon code FANGIRL during checkout for 20% off their first order at herecomesthenerd.com. Coupon applies to ready-to-ship items only.